H-A-R-D, and this is
Welcome.
and our address here for business is 336 Main Street. Don't really have public comment. We were just here to speak on the resolution for the subdivision. If there are any questions, just also to.
You take the name. Okay, sorry for the interruption.
No worries. That's great. We just wanted to thank not only the county planning commission, the city planning commission, but also city manager Imham and also assistant city manager Ashcom for helping through the process for the subdivision for the State Theater. As you know, it's been a long process for us, and we are nearing the end of that process to transfer ownership from the hospital. And we're very excited to begin work to get the IMAX in place, and brought my daughter along as she was our first official hire as our chief morale officer at the theater. So she's there to make sure everybody has a good time. But you know, this is really why we're doing this, to try and engage the young people of the area, try and bring a little bit of hope through a great redevelopment project, and just thank everybody.
What's your favorite movie?
There's so many movies.
Are you going to bring Barbie here to the movie?
We're hoping so.
Yeah, I called it, we can get the rights in October, so we're bringing it.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Brian Valetic, if you would, sir. Your name, spelling, and your address, and what you're speaking in regard.
It's Brian Valetic, V-U-L-E-T-I-C, 231 Walnut Street. And if you want my apartment number, it's 603. So it's great to be back.
You have 5 minutes to speak.
Okay. And I'm going to eventually here introduce. So we're going to kind of hand this off. Basically, what we're here to talk about tonight is, of course, one of the most monumental decisions that City Council will make or have made in the last decades about putting a homeless shelter right next to our apartment building on Walnut Street. Our apartment building, Lincoln Lee Manor, is considered one of the finest apartment buildings anywhere, not only in the city, but throughout Cambria County. We have some of the best people that live there. We are represented several tonight here in back row. They don't want to speak. And there's probably 20, 25 sitting in the lobby back at our place, apprehensive, thinking that the decision has already been made and it's a waste of time. I told them, I said, no, I think we got to go and at least discuss this. It's kind of important to us. Homelessness, and I don't know, I did some research today. Back in March, City Council went to HUD and asked if they could secure some money to build a homeless center in the city of Johnstown. I was out of town, but I can't believe maybe, and I don't know if we can engage in that, but what was the reason for that? Homelessness across this country, you know, is a major, major problem. I am concerned, and Frank, Mayor, you and I had a conversation on the street. He said, you're surely not against shelter for women. And I said, Frank,
To what it's going to.
exactly, okay. So, and I said, no, absolutely not. Through my years in radio, I've raised thousands of dollars for that charity. So I am all for helping the women of our area. It's our area. And I'm talking about Upper Yoder, Ferndale, Johnstown, whatever the case. This grant, through HUD, Councilman Arnone can tell you, when we get HUD involved, it's a whole different game. My concern right now, there's 85,000 homeless people sitting in New York City right now that need a place to live. Some of them are women. The train from New York City could drop them off on Walnut Street, and in 2, 3, 4 blocks, they're down at this shelter. That's a scary thought. I mean, you can say it's not going to happen, but HUD can tell you, we need a place for these people to live. I'm concerned about that. It's not our local people. It's the ones that might be coming from out of town. Secondly, you're putting millions and millions of dollars, and I applaud you for that, for Main Street. That's wonderful. But 2 blocks off of Main Street, on Walnut Street, we're going to put a homeless shelter? That just doesn't make sense. I mean, and not only that complicated, and that's a different subject, but another block down the street.
30 seconds.
What's that?
You have 30 seconds.
Okay. Another 30? Okay. And a half a block down the street, we lost our grocery store. We're in a dilemma down there, and we got some of the finest people in the city. They're good voters. They've lived there for 10, 20, 30 years. I'm only asking you to reconsider, at the very least, think about some other options. I know you don't want to table it again, but at least maybe we could get a committee together to discuss maybe some other. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I don't know, did Bob sign?
I was just going to ask, we want to have 1 or 2 representatives speak, or all the individuals, do they want to speak?
There's 2. There's just going to be 2.
Just 2.
Bob, there, I was going to hand it off to him, okay?
All right, both of them signed up then?
Yeah, I think that's.
Okay, if you would then, Bob, your name, address.
Robert Rossett Jr., I represent Lincoln Lee Manor, 231 Walnut Street.
Did you sign up on this?
Ryan, you signed me up, right?
Under my name, we were gonna tag team. I think we were getting 5 minutes apiece.
Was there? Okay,
Okay.
give us your name, spelling, and your address for.
Robert Rossett Jr., ROSAGE, and address 231 Walnut Street, Lincoln Lee Manor. And I've been representing Lincoln Lee Manor for 14 years now. The whole family there, mostly senior citizens, working, retired, they all live there to have a peaceful time in their retirement. And we're afraid that with this, I'm not really afraid of a homeless shelter, it's the size of the facility. There's no way that Johnstown needs a 30,000 square foot building plus to market homeless people. All we're going to do with that size facility, invite more people into town, like Brian was saying. And I've been to Philadelphia. I've personally seen the billboards inviting people to Johnstown. I've seen it. And I also represent another business in town. And I've cleaned up human feces on the street 4 times in the last 2 months. So this problem isn't going to get any better by inviting people. I'm okay with helping people if they're willing to help themselves. But I have 60 apartments in this building, people that deserve to have a peaceful time in their retirement. I'm afraid that we are inviting chaos into our streets. I have in my hand here, I'm not going to read it to you. Kind of quote from George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, so sensible that it just blew my mind as I read these things. But we got to get back to that. We got to get back to God in our society. And that's the only thing that's going to change. I feel pretty hopeless about where we are today in our environment. What I see every day, I'm telling you. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Who was the third person speaking? Again, were you signed up, sir?
Yes.
And your name?
Scott Berkey,
Okay, if you would, Scott, spell your last name and your address, please.
Berkey, and 231 Walnut Street.
Okay, very good. You have 5 minutes to speak, sir.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, I was born in Johnstown here, and it went through some bad times back in the 70s. The flood really wiped a lot of things out. And I had a hard time finding a job back in those days. And I know, I feel bad for the people that are homeless. I could have very well been homeless with my parents still being alive then. But it got so bad, I finally left Johnstown for better opportunities down in Virginia. Been there for 34 years, me and my wife. And when she passed away, I wasn't going to be down there by myself, so I decided to retire and move back to Johnstown, thinking things would change. So my brother says, he feels like I'm a boomerang because I left and came back. And I thought things would really change in Johnstown, but as I can see some things, there's some good things, I'm seeing some bad things, but I think the thing that's really bad when I just get back here and get settled down, to find out there's going to be a homeless shelter right next door to me. So that's one of the things I was upset about, because I just got back here and I don't want to leave the city again. This is my hometown. I'm going to go to my 50th year reunion. I would like to stay here till the end of my days. But if things get out of control, then I'm going to have to leave again. So that's all I have to say. It's okay. Okay.
Do we have any others that want to speak or signed up here? Is speaking in regard to the same subject matter. Gentlemen want to speak? Yeah. Sir, are you signed up?
Yes, sir.
And your name?
I'm Jeff McCullough Jr.
Okay. And can you spell out your last name for us, please? Your full name and address?
It'd be MATULA Jr. Jeremy. My address is 525 Pine Street, 1207.
You have 5 minutes to speak, sir.
I'm speaking on behalf of mainly the concerns I have is what's been going on with like the prospect area up there. We were told from the executive director that we would get updates from the landlords and stuff like that, and the only updates that the managers have been getting is from the members.
This is not an agenda item. Can you wait until the end of the meeting for non-agenda items?
Yes.
Housing Authority Board.
He doesn't need prep. Are you speaking in regard to an agenda item?
Also,
If you're not speaking to an agenda item, you have to wait till the end. Thank you, sir. Does anyone else wish to speak that signed up? You would, sir?
Hi, my name is Michael Kane, K-A-N-E.
You're signed up, Michael?
I am. I'm here to represent the Women's Health Center, also doing business as the Community Health Center. We had
Address for the Women's Health Center. Order, please.
what was your question, sir?
Spell your name if you haven't already.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Michael Kane, K-A-N-E. Address at the Women's Health Center is 809 Napoleon Street.
5 minutes to speak.
Thank you. The city put out an RFP sometime in June. The due date was less than a month. We had less than a month to find a site, get a sales agreement, find a general contractor, get preliminary drawings put together, get budgets, work with contractors to get budgets for those preliminary drawings, and then submit the application with our vision. We did that in 3 weeks, and we waited and waited to hear anything from the city. I was here present at the last city council meeting where I heard some state that there was 2 applicants and only 1 was qualified. The other one was disqualified. The Women's Health Center was never notified of our disqualification. The plans that we had was for a 2-story building where apparently 1 floor met the requirements and 1 floor did not meet the requirements. Once we found this out, we contacted the engineer who put our preliminary concept drawing in place, and we put bathrooms in every room as was required. Resubmitted the 1 floor drawings that had changed, and we were notified saying that the deadline is passed and they cannot see, they can't look at our new drawing and consider it. And I'm here to definitely state that homelessness has been a growing problem in the Johnstown area. We see it. The Women's Health Center currently, in the month of July, we served 79 people. That's 79 people in the 9 units of apartments we have, or the shelter that holds 32 people on the Point. And for the excess, they're all in hotels because we just don't have the place to put them. I'm here to ask the city to reconsider the Women's Health Center's proposal. Accept the drawing, the second drawing that we sent in that had the bathrooms included in the bedrooms, and we're just asking for it to be considered. You know, it sounds like our proposal was taken out completely and Victim Services' proposal is the winning note, the one that's going to be on Vine Street. We don't, whatever the city decides, the city decides. We're just asking to be considered. We worked pretty hard on our grant application, and it seems like it just got pushed off onto a shelf because there was one thing that was missing: bathrooms in the first floor bedrooms. We had the bathrooms in the second floor bedrooms, but again, these drawings were listed as preliminary concept drawings. There's no bathrooms downstairs. I toured that building 4 times with management and with general contractors, looking around to see what the work needed. Again, we know we are sheltering people at the Women's Health Center. We have 8 2-bedroom units, a 1-bedroom unit, and a 3-bedroom house. They're all full. They're all full of people that need places to stay. Our proposal is on Franklin Street, literally 1 block from where our current shelter is. We're only asking to be considered. Seems like the city's pushed our proposal or our RFP and just disqualified it and never notified us. Again, when I was here at a city council meeting and realized that our proposal was disqualified, you guys had a new drawing in 4 days. Nobody notified us. We didn't know that there was one thing missing in our drawings, a bathroom, that disqualified us. The money that the city's trying to give out for this project could do people of the city a lot of good. Help people get off the street. We have programs put in place. You don't just get the room and get 3 meals a day. You got to work towards an end goal. You being able to support yourself, getting people off the street, trying to raise them up. That's all we're trying to do with our proposal. We hope that the city will reconsider its decision to not consider.
Thank you. Some of that council we can address when we. Is there anyone else that would like to speak this time? Mr. DiBartolo? Go ahead.
Andy B. Frank,
Yes, please.
DiBartola, DeBartolla, John, 1197 Bedford Street. The city has done very little to no background research into making the decision. No community impact analysis was done to verify its need. And while they have included stakeholder opinions in the proposal to move funds they plan to submit to HUD, they have grossly misquoted and adapted this information to meet their own personal agenda. The list of stakeholders does not even list the correct services that each provide. The motivation behind this project seems to be mainly political, as an achievement that certain board members want to say make happen that they did it. The issue, though, being that the local public health officials and those collecting and managing the population and data about them see this as the opposite to the best course of action. First it was Afghan refugees, now we have the homeless. This project does not guarantee help for the homeless of Cambria County. Only those considered victims will qualify, which of course they are important people to serve, but they can come from anywhere and everywhere. It would not be limited to locals. The article in the Tribune said, quote, double their capacity. Victim Services has 4 rooms right now. You want to spend $800,000 for 8 rooms? The community and its human services are so overstressed and broke. We learned this when Vision tried to sneak in their unvetted refugees. We don't have the services. We just heard from someone now saying they even weren't considered for their program. This is not a direction that's going to draw more help for the city. It's going to disparage the city, and it's going to create more problems and more poverty. On a serious note, who's going to serve them when they're at the shelter if they come here from out of the county? Where are your resources? Where is your plan? Where is your help? Do you have the house resources for this population? Because I don't think you do. I recently tried to refer 2 homeless people. I was in shock at the entire system. And there is bed space. Is our public health system going to be able to handle the increase in these services? Our school system? You all heard these over and over again. This is a bad thing for you to be doing. It imports poverty. Don't do it. The second thing I want to talk about is the Johnstown Housing Authority Board appointment. I've been very critical of the Housing Authority for the entire 10 years I've been here. I applied one more time. You're never going to appoint me. I know that already. You need to start appointing people who are not yes people. You're reappointing John Slezak. John's a nice guy. He's already had 5 years on the board. There are residents from Prospect in this room. Any one of them will take that appointment if you ask them tonight. I know there's only 4 of you in this room. Unless Ms. Upel is on the phone, that would make 5. My point is, when are you going to start appointing new people to these positions? Take the housing crisis seriously. I see Mr. Arnone at the housing board meetings every month. He will tell you, there's no one there. I understand that. That only changes when you start appointing new board members. When are you going to do it? When are you going to make a change and all the issues with Prospect? How many people want to know that a housing director cares about the residents, going to the meetings, talking to the residents, but writes no requested emails? The directors don't even know, and that includes the chairman, what's going on with the director and HUD and secret meetings with nonprofits. At what point are you going to appoint a new person who's going to take the lead and start putting in motions and legislation to curb the increased public standard housing? Stop the Section 8. The local board has the power to do that. You're not appointing people who will do that. You're appointing yes people. We've had this talk before. It's the same people. Then you defend the appointments over and over again. Do something different. Appoint Bishop Magali. Appoint Mr. Matula, the Prospect Tenant Association chairman. Put one of the residents who lives there, who has lived there. Put Mr. Matula's brother. He's a resident of, I believe, Oakhurst right now. He was in Prospect. Put one of these residents who will volunteer their time, serve on these boards, and ask all the tough questions. And if you don't do this, you continue to prove that you're not transparent, you're not honest, you're not caring about the citizens and caring about the special interests and power brokers. When will you do this? And how many times do people like me have to show up and beg you to appoint new people? You say that no one applies. I just gave you 2 people who will do it, 3 people. You can count me as 4 if you want to put a watchdog on one of these boards. Are you going to do it? When do you appoint someone new? Am I almost out of time? 30 seconds. When are you going to do it? And when you don't do it, and things continue to get worse, and the housing stock plummets, because people can't find housing, because your board of directors is not taking an interest in the community, what are you going to do? So please, appoint someone new tonight. There's 4 of you. Maybe one of you won't vote for Mr. Slezak, and with 4 votes, you won't have an appointment. And vote no on the shelter. You heard Mr. Valetic's very impassioned speech. I agree with him. What are you doing to our city? These decisions have ramifications that are going to destroy us. Please don't do this. Thank you for your time.
Mr. McGowan, did you want to speak?
Yeah, I'll say something. Good
If
evening.
you would, your name?
Bishop Joseph McGauley, 1081 McKinley Avenue. MCGAULEY.
You have 5 minutes.
Ken, good evening. My voice is a little from preaching yesterday. It was a good service. Good to see everyone. I sat back as long as I could concerning this housing issue. I just sat back right in Prospect. I sat back and I wanted to see which pastor, spiritual leader from north or the south was going to speak up on the humanitarian crisis. Not one. It just bothers me. Now we want to build a homeless shelter and tear down the projects at the same time. Do you know you'll have all the people from the projects in the homeless shelter? You can't do both at the same time. Now I understand. I told everybody, I understand you want to dismantle those areas. First of all, you have to stop advertising all over the country. Come to Johnstown. I get calls all the time. I used to. Come to Johnstown. Come to. Bishop, did you know they're advertising your city in Johnstown? Really? And one day I saw it myself. We've invited all these people in, and now they're feeling like putting them out. What was scary to me when I heard HUD didn't contact you all. You all contacted HUD. That's scary, man. You can't do a homeless shelter. Put people out there. Do that. Don't agree to that. All of the people that you're putting out, they're going to need a place to live. Homeless shelter. Get there. No help. One last thing I want to say. Can you imagine how many of those children that live in these projects that are hearing they may be kicked out soon? Do you know when they go to bed, they sleep with insecurities? I told a story yesterday. It was a group who helped save all of these refugee children during the World War II. They gathered all these children who had lost all their parents. They discovered something. None of them could sleep. They brought psychiatrists in. None of them could sleep. It was like, what is it? The psychiatrist started pulling the youth aside. They were afraid that tomorrow would come. They didn't have nowhere to sleep or eat. They did something. They put a piece of bread in each one of the children. They said the snoring became incredible. Why? You cannot do a homeless shelter. Shut down housing at the same time. They'll be right here.
Thank you.
You don't have to clap. You don't have to clap. That's the reality.
Do we have any other speakers? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the agenda. We have one.
Did you want to speak, sir? Did you want to speak?
Yes, I
Come on. Did you sign up? Yes. Come on, speak.
Oh, wait. Is he on the agenda?
Huh?
Are you on the agenda, sir?
No.
You'll have to wait till the end.
He's not on it. He's not signed up.
You on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Sign up.
No. Yeah,
Your name,
not
please.
signed up.
Your name
Mason Matola?
on the agenda. Okay, and Mason, can you spell your last name for us, please, and your address?
It is MATULA. My address is Building 52, Oakers Homes, Apartment C, Johnstown, PA. I hope you guys don't mind me saying that, because sometimes housing gets kind of confusing. My apologies on that, because again, I'm still kind of hurt about the relocation prospect. You know, I've been up here for 15 years. You know, family was down the road. And it was hard for me. It was. I'm a long time and I felt it was wrong. Why couldn't we have more time? Why was it a letter? Why couldn't we get notified? You know, the right way, like, hey, you know, we're relocating. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but as someone that lived up there for 15 years, you know, that was my sanctuary, that was my security spot. You know, I'm still trying to adjust in Oakers, and I'm having a hard time. I miss my family being there. You know, they had me in high rises in March, and that was miserable for me. I felt like I was trapped in boxes when they moved me over to high rises. It wasn't right for me because of prospect, you know, open space and stuff like that. To me, $100 check signing leases is nothing. You know, financially, I lost clothes, I lost items. You know, it was hard for me to actually move stuff in that I left up there because we were only notified a little bit. Then they left our food up there for a month. We were notified, which I thought was very disrespectful because inflation these days is hard. You know, I'm not trying to be rude. You know, you're going to one place to another place. If that makes sense, you know, guys. To me, how I deeply feel as a co-chairman of the association, I want to go home. I miss my home. And I really hate the idea that we have to go this far to get answers or just asking for some information from you guys. Because I really want to go home and, you know, and I feel like it was wrong what y'all did to us. And I apologize if you guys feel different. And I miss my home. I felt comfortable there. I feel like a complete stranger of Oakers. I feel like I don't belong there. Prospect, I felt like that was home. I knew everybody. We were all family. That community, you know, it didn't matter about our last names. We were all brothers and sisters. Everybody knew each other. We all got along with that. And with this relocation, what hurts me the most, I've been fighting my family because of it. You know, and that takes a toll on me. Because again, I love my family. And I don't know if you know the saying, family's more better than anything to me. Well, the big issue that I have also is, like Mr. John Barr put it out, as a resident of housing who lives in housing, I feel like one of us should go on board. We can tell you what's going on. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, you know. I'm still devastated in Prospect. I always will be because that's my home. And that's all I really got to say on that part. But with the other part, you know, I just don't like Oakers, period. My heart is where my home is. That's Prospect. And I'm very sorry if I made you all discomfort on this part, but, you know, as a housing resident, you know, as a housing resident, you know, a Prospect tenant all my life, you know, family was down the road. It killed me getting that letter. I mean, it didn't make sense to me how y'all kicked Mr. Burns out of the meeting because he's there for the public. I didn't like that. I'm not trying to bring no names up. I'm just drawing facts. You know, public housing, public state rep, you know, he's a great guy, just like Mr. John right here. I love them both.
But neither he nor I can give you the answer. You have to go to the housing.
We tried that, and all we got was one.
You got Mr. Arnone here and their meetings. That's who's going to make those decisions. Council hears you loud and clear. But that's a decision between the housing authority and HUD. And that's who you need to address it directly.
Yeah, based on what we do, we got to go through you guys or the media to get the answer. It's not right, if you understand where I'm coming from as a house. And I definitely appreciate you guys giving the time to.
Thank you.
And my heart is completely broken when I have the prospect. I want to go home so bad. I miss it. I miss my family being down the road. I miss my family and the communication. You know,
So you understand. We decided.
But I would love to see a housing tenant on the meeting notice.
If you're done, and then we'll give a response. Please, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Mr. Arnone.
First of all, to answer your question, we do have, two minutes to that. This is for everybody
My
here.
apologies.
We do have a resident on the board. That's Ms. Hasselby. She not only was a former manager, she resides in one of the units. She's been there for a long time. She probably knows more about the system than anybody I know when it comes to, because she operated one. We do care. Secondly, there was a piece of plaster fell down and injured a woman. And it was 2 cases, in fact. And that's the reason we expedited the move, because we didn't want anybody to get hurt. If a child would have got hit by that plaster, and the likelihood that it would have been devastating. And the same people that are yelling at us would have been just as upset if a child would have got hurt or an older person got hurt. We did take care of it. We tried in every way to make you, get you comfortably moved to another position while HUD decides whether they're going to fix the place or not. Now, it looks like we don't have a decision yet by them. It looks likely that they're going to remodel them and fix them. But that takes time, and every unit has to be fixed. We couldn't put you in there if something could happen to you. I've been through those units. There's some that are very nice, and there's some that are deplorable. Plaster falling down. They used the wrong kind of nails to hold the plaster up years ago. It's too late to find a contractor, but my God, it's 45 years ago that it happened. But we are looking into it readily every week. We have a call into HUD constantly. They haven't answered us. We can't move until they give us the authority to move. So, to answer your question, there is a resident. Mrs. Houserig is a very nice lady. She's knowledgeable about the operation and the situation that everybody cares about. We're moving forward as fast as the wheels of government and HUD will allow us. It's not that we're trying to procrastinate any way. We're trying to be as truthful as we can. The reason Mr. Burns was not invited to that meeting was because he was not a resident. It was concerned between the administration and the residents. We wanted to satisfy the residents and answer their questions. They did what they could to make you as comfortable as they could. You weren't charged for the month rent and you were moved. They did as much as they could to extend as much evenly throughout the system. Now, we will work diligently to try and get it done, and it looks like the likelihood that they may fix it, but I don't have that decision, and I can't really say that that's going to happen. I promise you I will give you an answer as soon as I get one. Okay? One more thing.
No, this is not a conversation. I'm sorry. This was, you did your speech and he did the response. Okay? Thank you. Do we have anyone else that would like to speak? Find out. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Mayor, I did apply for
That's not, we're not taking information.
I just wanted you to know that my application is in there.
That's fine, but that is not on the agenda for you to speak.
That's fine.
Thank you. All right, we would move on then. Resolutions. I think we all feel the same as Mr. Arnone here. The losses and moves and all the people that had things like sure, pretty much something. Thank you. Resolutions. State Theater Minor Subdivision Plan. Resolution of City Council, City of Johnstown, Cambria County, Pennsylvania, approving a minor subdivision of 2 parcels on Main Street in the City of Johnstown. Do I have a motion?
Motion to move the table?
No, that's read. We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? I think we had a gentleman speak earlier on that particular piece with the State Theater. There's,
I just have a question, just so I can understand. Because there was a portion that the hospital owned, correct? And now, are they relinquishing that?
but it's just so we're not going back.
I'm not gonna go. I'm not.
No, yeah. We don't want to go that way.
Okay. Are they relinquishing that part?
Yeah, well, first of all, the hospital doesn't own the property. The property is owned by their property trust that the hospital sold the property to. Just to clarify that piece, but yeah, the purpose of the subdivision is so that that property can be subdivided from the hospital piece, and then it can be transferred to redevelopment authority and the State Theater to theater.
They don't have an outlay.
I believe that's in the plans. Yes.
There's no further questions. Roll call, please.
Mayor?
Yes.
Reverend King?
Yes.
Yes. Benny?
Yes.
The Home American Rescue Plan funding was tabled. Do I need to read that solicitor first? A resolution of the City Council, City of Johnstown, Pennsylvania, authorizing the city manager to execute and take any and all actions necessary to effectuate an agreement with the Victim Services Incorporated in the amount of $749,683 through the city's Home American Rescue Plan program for the development of a non-congregate shelter within the city of Johnstown. Now, this has been tabled. Do I have a motion?
Motion to remove from table.
Do I have a second? Okay, it's not removed from the table. We can't discuss anything, Solicitor.
When can we discuss this? Have a workshop or something to discuss?
Well, I take it back. I mean, you made a motion. And it in the water as far as we. Just over time. Really don't want to violate sunshine law. I would say inquiry is to discuss another time or special place to discuss that.
Okay.
So it's not been removed from the table, and it's not up for discussion.
In my position, I think John would agree with me. Resident expert on sunshine.
All right. So it'll be up to council itself, and it's particularly the city manager to schedule something to discuss further. Solicitor.
You're saying it's dead though. I mean, do we start from scratch? This in terms of it.
No, it just wasn't removed from the
It's still
table.
on table.
So it's the September agenda.
Yes.
Table that, right?
And since it's been not had a second on this, we will move on then. New business, authority and committee vacancies. The term of John Slesak as member of the Johnstown Housing Authority expired August 1st, 2023. Mr. Slesak submitted a request to be reappointed, and JHS has recommended his reappointment.
I make a motion to table this until the people want to be.
I would just note that the applications you have are the ones that we've received as of press time. There have been some that have come in since that time.
We haven't seen all this. We just table that so we get cut off on everything.
So we have a motion and then a second. Okay. Roll call. This is the table.
Reverend King?
Yes.
Mrs. Bond? Yes. Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Two loan review committees expired on August 11, 2023. Those of Melissa Comar and Ken Cenzur. Both Mrs. Comar and Mr. Cenzur have expressed their desire to be reappointed to the loan review committee. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any other nominations? If not, roll call.
Mrs. Bond? Yes. Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Reverend King?
Yes.
Yes. Both have done extremely well in their position with the loan committee as far as the mayor speaking out. Recommended action, make a motion to reappoint John Slesak to the Housing Authority. We've already paid that. So that's just a Okay. At this time, I will be reading a proclamation. This has been requested by certain. Okay. On August 30th, 1923, City of Johnstown police officers were wounded and killed in pursuit of Robert Young in the city neighborhood of Rosedale. In response to those shootings, a former Johnstown mayor issued an order that all African and Mexican Americans residing fewer than 7 years in the city be banished, causing the forceful displacement of approximately 2,000 persons. The act has a blatant and egregious embrace of Jim Crow policy and racism, upended the lives of hundreds of families who committed no wrongs. They were forced to struggle and endure the loss of their jobs, their homes, and their rightful place in our community, setting back the stability of the African and Mexican American communities in Johnstown by decades. The City of Johnstown condemns the response to the shooting and remembers the anguish of the African and Mexican American communities. We honor their sacrifices, their resilience, and their undying hope in the pursuit of racial justice. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Frank J. Janakovic, Mayor of the City of Johnstown, on behalf of Johnstown City Council and our citizens, give embrace to this 100th anniversary of the Johnstown banishment of 1923. We offer our solemn resolve to ensure that all citizens of the city are treated with dignity, respect, and fairness that every person is entitled to at birth. Witness, therefore, by the seal of the city of Johnstown be affixed, Frank J. Janaknik, Mayor of the city of Johnstown. And this will be presented, the actual proclamation, city manager.
Yes, John is hosting remembrance ceremony on September 7th, which is the 100th anniversary of the Roseville. Sent that to council. We put that on.
Okay, further business, public comments again on non-agenda items. I think the one gentleman that wanted to speak, if you would, sir. If you would, sir, your name, full name, spelling, and address.
My name is Saeed Rohn, R-O-H-N, 420 Vine Street, apartment 3109.
What you're talking in regard to?
Johnstown housing, preferably Prospect.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. As you can see, I'm handicapped. I can't walk. My right knee left knee is messed up. Right knee is messed up. And yes, people are uprooted, given a month to leave. And I'm in a place where I don't want to be because I'm all the way up on the top floor and I'm handicapped. And it's a pain. I'm afraid of elevators because I got PTSD. And, closed spaces kind of get me. And being up that high gets me. And I talk to my landlord and I get nothing. So, I just want to really get out of there. Prospect, I had brand new construction. I don't even know why I had to leave. They just built my house. Literally built it. Like about 5 years ago, they just built it because they extended a handicap house or a what do you call them? They call them houses. The 1 bedroom they extended into a 3-bedroom, and it was handicap accessible because they had ramps and everything, porch in the back. I just missed that place, and I don't know why I had to leave, but now I can't get handicap. I think that should be addressed some kind of way because I'm sure a lot of people who are handicapped don't have handicap accessible places because they rush this out so fast. So, thank you for listening.
Do we have anyone else that would like to speak? Steve Bartola?
My name, address, and all that again.
I think we have that. You have 3 minutes to speak, sir.
First off, Carl, it's so good to see you. It's been a long time. You're one of the few solicitors I respect. I'd like to speak to you after the meeting about a legal issue that I don't want to talk about here. If you have a few minutes to talk to me.
Not a problem. I still need that too.
Brace yourselves. I'm about to praise you all. Your ears may bleed. Thank you. Frank, I'm saying thank you. I'm so glad to see that the motion for the homeless shelter was taken. I know Marie put a motion in to pass it. I'm glad the other 3 weren't here to pass it. Just tabled it. But I'm glad it's maybe in 6 months it'll just die. You've heard a lot of people have a lot of commentary on this. I could give you 3 more pages of that. Maybe I'll do that at next month's meeting. Thank you. As for the housing authority position, thank you to Mr. Reverend King and Mrs. Mock for tabling that as well. You do have to make changes. I'm hoping this is a step in the right direction and that you will put someone different on. Because even though there is a member of the JHA resident, she's very nice. These people don't know her. They never heard her name. They don't see her at the meetings. I know you're not going to put me on. I've been asking for this appointment probably for 10 years. Frank, you and I have had multiple talks about this. I don't expect it. I always put the application in saying, you want a watchdog? If you want someone that's going to do 150%, I'm going to do what I think is best. And you know that. Put one of these people on. Put Bishop McGully on. He's full of passion. Put one of the Matulas on. Put any of the 110 families on Prospect. They have been wrong so severely. They will be the ones to call HUD every day. They will be the ones to fight. they're people you need to put on. Because until you start putting watchdogs on these boards, you keep reappointing the same people term after term after term. And I've given the speech about political dinosaurs for years. Because you keep appointing the same people, no one else wants to apply. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You put the same person on term after term. Look at our water authority. We had a board member that was on for 4 decades. We had Red Pinizzotto, nice guy. He died at 95 after being on for 4 decades. Should these people be on these boards for decades? Redevelopment authority. You have an appointment coming up in January. You need to replace every member on these boards. Give them their 5 years. Move on. Get someone else on. You have to do this. But I want to praise you tonight. It takes me a lot to say, Frank, you did a good job.
Well, Mayor did a good job.
Mayor did a good job. Continue with it next month. Don't put the homeless shelter in. And after hearing from the Women's Help Center that they weren't even considered, maybe you need to take a look at local access and reevaluate their proposal. And please appoint new people. It doesn't have to be me. I know it's not going to be. I put that on the application. That's why I listed 3 of you as reference. I know you're not going to do it, but you need to do something. You need to put people on these boards who are going to care about the residents and fight. So when HUD does something, they're not just going to accept it and roll over. They're going to be protesting with the residents saying, you can't do this. It shouldn't always take the activists. I have time. Thank you.
I just want to restate that, not Mayor did a good job, Mayor, Council. Do we have?
Yeah, I'll finish.
I think we had a gentleman back there that's been waiting the whole meeting. So if you would, sir. Your name?
Jeffrey McCullough Jr.,
Your address, sir?
525 Pine Street, 1207.
Very good. You have 3 minutes to speak, sir.
Mainly what I want to address is I really agree with John and a couple of my members of the association. I agree with, we ought to appoint Bishop McCauley as a Johnstown Housing Board member. He's a man that would go out, communicate with the community, interact with the community. We need people that's going to be willing to interact and see what's going on, see the situation, see what the communities are going on into these other communities, so we can prevent another hazard, another situation that we had up there in Prospect. It's unfortunate circumstances, pray every day. God will make the right decisions with HUD, housing, whoever else is involved, it's been, I'm sure you heard what my brother said, it's been nothing but turmoil, heartache, stress, pain. We had a security blanket up there. That whole community, we watched out for each other. We took care of each other. Elderly needed shovels, sidewalk shovel when we were out there. People needed food, we were there. It pretty much took our security blanket away from us. And that's what it was. It was a loving, I always say our community was bought, our community is humanity, unity, and love. And that's what it was up there. It was unfortunate circumstances. Yeah, I'm choking up a little bit, It's rough, especially when you come from a single floor townhouse to a high rise, and you got people saying that they're willing to work with us, they're willing to work with us, they're willing to work with us, and we don't see no progression. That community's been shut down since March. Where's the final cause? Where's the direction that we're going to go with this? I know I'm not supposed to be speaking to you about it. I'm supposed to be speaking with HUD and housing.
Directing you to the proper.
Yeah, I know, these are directed towards the people that make these decisions. But all this association wants is, transparency. Work with us. We're not bad people. If they need help, we're willing to help them.
Just to clarify, we are here to listen, see what we can do. And some of that is up to the authority and the others that are out there in HUD. So hopefully, Mr. Arnone spoke, they're addressing it.
And Mr. Mayor, I'm not here to fuss. That's why I put a suit on. The last time I was here, I had a hoodie on. I'm not here to fuss or nothing. But we just want to work closely with the people. People have souls, they have feelings. A lot of those children that have been displaced from Prospect, we still went and got them and picked them up as we fed all summer. The after-school program for March, we were feeding those kids. And it's a good community. I'm sticking up for Prospect because you know what? I learned how to walk in Prospect. In 1963, 64, I learned how to walk. But I learned how to run in Coopersdale. We were the first black family to live in Coopersdale homes. So the Oakhurst, Coopersdale, Prospect, Solomon has a place in my heart. We always played basketball, football against the other projects, but we need somebody who's going to go in those places, talk with the people, tell them to clean up the hallways, knock on the doors, get to know them, but keep them updated on what's going on. Because you don't want them just listening at rumors, stuff on Facebook, cause bitter people. And you never want all the residents from Solomon, Coopersdale, Oakhurst, come through those doors and demand justice. It could be a big mess. Just keep them in. Let them know what's going on. They need a place. Because if you shut everything down, they're going to be right in that homeless shelter. We need to be careful. Let's take care. The Bible says charity begins at home. Then it spreads abroad. God bless. Thank you.
Council, does anybody have any final comments?
Oh, one more thing, sir. It just broke my heart a little bit. Let's show her someone. You know, that's the young lady who the plaster fell on. Right there, wave your hand.
Bishop, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Would it be different circumstances today if this action wasn't taken and that young lady wasn't here to be in that audience?
What's this matter? She just walked in.
No, I'm not saying her. I mean other people. We just saw a gas house blow up in Pittsburgh and kill people. I think they took the safety road.
That's good. But
Do you agree with that?
Yes. But just keep them updated. That's all I'm saying. Keep them
I
updated.
wasn't given. I wasn't given 1,000. You guys kicked me out. I was the first Kennedy was kicked out. I was the one who posted on social media about mold and water.
That's a different issue. And kind of that's the.
Well, it's about the structure of homes of Prospect, so it's not a different issue.
It's an issue with the housing authority.
Yeah.
Well, she
No,
needs to
she's
be.
well aware. Mr. Charles is well aware of my.
Don't just shut her down, man.
Very
Come
aware of
on.
my face. So, yeah, this all started. We're here right now because I stated my her story. You guys paid her $3,000 to get it shut up, and then you kicked everybody out of Prospect.
We can talk about that and we feel for you, definitely. The bottom line is safety was other people weren't injured or killed.
Yeah, well, I was shot during that time.
That's why we're here and everybody's out.
And I'm
Safety
still
first.
homeless.
So at that point in time, council has nothing else.
Yeah, but it's still smell a rat, sir. It sounds like there's an agenda.
You guys talk about these women's center is the Martha and Mary's home is completely open. And victim services is not doing their job. Again, I was shocked. I had to flee down south for 3 months. That's why I've been vacant from these meetings. But inflation is so bad and income is very hard, and I have 3 children, so I had to come back to Johnstown just to find out how to work. And you guys know how I can't get into housing. You guys shut down Belmont applications. So I'm just here again. So I'll be around a little bit more.
Thank you. Good luck. That's all I can say right now. Hope things work out for you. Be exceptional a little while. On that note, if there's nothing else, council, meeting adjourned.
See,